Hey guys, Nick here. So today we're going to be taking a look at the 2025 Yamaha Grizzly XT-R. Now I have made videos on the other Grizzly models in the past prior model years, so I'll have those pop up throughout the video if you want to check one of those out and you're looking at maybe one of the EPS models without the big fancy wheels and tires on them. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on the XT-R here for 25. What are the changes and what are the other models you have to look at? We will as well go for a full tour around this machine, go take a close look at those wheels, the winch, the display, everything you want to see, and then we'll take it for a spin at the end of the video. So let's get started. So before we break into what are the model offers you can look at, let's first talk about what you get with the Grizzly here. It is powered by a 675cc fuel-injected, liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine, which is then paired up to a CVT transmission. But Yamaha does their clutching and belt drives differently than its competitors, and so these don't traditionally usually burn up belts. And to help prove that, Yamaha does include a 10-year warranty on the belt drive on these systems because they adjust more through the clutches and not so much the strain is on the belt itself for its engagement. Now, if you want to take a deeper dive in that, you can really read up on that on Yamaha's website, but that's a quick little explanation on the belt drive and what separates it from its competition. Now, a couple added bonuses with the Grizzly. This, of course, shares the same motor powertrain that's out of the Kodiak 700, but this is belted and geared a little bit different for some more top-end speed. With the Grizzly platform, though, you do have 4 models to choose from. You have an EPS version, which is the quote-unquote base model, which is going to have a little bit less of a fancier finish. It's going to have a different wheel and tire, a more all-around tire and safer tire on grass and dirt, and not so much of a mudslinger tire that's really going to grip and dig into the soil like these. That's going to have a different offset though, so the back are going to be different from what's up front. Versus with the XT-R here, you get a matching 4 set of wheels that the front are swappable with the back. They're the same size wheel and tire. And so with that EPS model, you have a different wheel and tire on it and you don't get the winch. Then they make a LTD, I believe they call it, which basically gives you the fancier wheel and tire, but no winch up front, and that will have its own different color scheme. Then of course you have the XT-R, which is this right here, which is basically their flagship top of the line they do, which gives you the wheel and tires, the whole powertrain package you get with the Grizzly, and you get that Warren winch, 2,500 pound winch right up front. Now they do make a camo, which is about $200 more than the XT-R, but you're just paying for that camo finish and you get everything you get here on the XT-R. So besides the inclusion of a winch or a different wheel and tire on the machine, they are all basically the same for the Grizzly lineup. But you do get a lot of added bonuses on this versus a Kodiak 700. You get more taller suspension travel, more towing capacities, again, different gearing for more top end on the Grizzly, so a bit better, more performance you're going to get out of it. You have LED headlights and then a halogen bulb for your third headlight. And so while we're talking about what comes with the Grizzly, let's talk about its sticker price. This has a MSRP of right about $11,400, but that doesn't include your destination charge from Yamaha. And so out the door, you're really looking at about $12,000 from a dealer, but that doesn't include any setup or prep fees from the dealer they might add on, or even any sales tax depending where you are located for what that rate is going to be. But if you're looking for a good trusted Yamaha dealer, you can use my dealer, JAF Motors, located in Glenville, New York. And so if you're interested in picking one of these machines up, all of their info linked down below and on screen, so be sure to check them out as they can get you set up on one of these Grizzlies or any other Yamaha product. But that's enough talking here. Let's get up close and take a tour around the Grizzly. Now, starting up front, let's first talk about and take a close look at those LED headlights. Now, your third headlight, though, is a halogen bulb, which I'm not completely sure as to why Yamaha does it that way. And around back, on your back bumper, you have an LED tail light. But that's enough lighting. Let's work our way down to the bottom of the bumper where we're going to see our Warren winch. Now this winch is a 2,500 pound Yamaha Warren winch, so it's in partnership with Warren, so you know it's going to be a reliable, good winch. Of course, it's a steel cable though. Some people like to use a synthetic and use a rope on these. Now on the right side of that winch, you're going to have a free spool, so you can just turn that red knob about 45 degrees and it will unlock it and you can pull that cable right out. I believe it's between a 25 and 50 foot Cable, they don't specify, but I want to say it's pretty close to about 30 or 40 feet. And then we're going to work our way around the machine, and now let's take a close look up on those wheel and tires. These tires are specifically designed to go in and get thrown into some mud. If you're going to be using this in your backyard or your house on a bunch of grass, it's going to rip it up, which is why they kind of make that EPS version. If you want something that's not so aggressive, and these tires, you kind of notice how aggressive they are, especially when you go and turn the machine. They like to kind of plow a little bit more than the EPS, I've noticed. Now, when it comes to all your main electronics, under this front piece, you're going to pull up. There's going to be a couple clips, 2 on each side. There we go. This one should pop up, side it up. And here is all of our electronics. So our battery's going to be right here, an intake right there for cooling, all your main fuses and electronics, of course. So try to keep this area dry, but Yamaha also try to make this at the highest point of the machine so you can really submerge this unit quite deep into, waters or mud and not have to worry about stuff getting wet that's not supposed to get wet. So it's nice that Yamaha did this. This is a nice little bonus to them to think outside and kind of think of something like this to remember. But yeah, let's jump back in. But now let's work our way towards the back of it. Something as well you are going to want to know is your oil check is right here. You twist this, about 45 degrees, pops off, and your dipstick's right there. You pull it off, clean it off, dip it in. You don't push it all the way in, and that's how you check your oil on the Grizzly. You have a screw-on oil filter on the other side, and a drain right underneath for your servicing. There's a wrench on the display that will pop up when it's time to be serviced, but I recommend reading your owner's manual as it's going to be sooner on your first service, about 20 hours, and then it's going to jump up from there. Now on the back here, of course, Yamaha has an independent suspension set up front and rear. You got disc brakes all around as well, and you're going to see your receiver right there at the bottom, which is nice. You can slide your hitch right in to any trailers, and it keeps your ball a little bit further back behind the wheels, so you get a little more articulation when you're doing any type maneuvering with a trailer. And above that, as you work your way up, you're going to see we got a little storage compartment, which isn't anything too crazy, but you can throw some gloves, maybe a couple small tools in there just to keep on hand, or even a chain. Now on this back corner fender, you're going to see your fuel fill, as the fuel tank is located under and below the seat, helping keep that center of gravity low. But then when we turn this way, we're going to see our foot brake down at the bottom there, and we're going to see a storage compartment and a few other things here. So this is a completely sealable compartment. This takes a second to open, but it's nice. It's got a rope attached, so it's not really going to fall out. You actually do have a pretty good amount of storage space in there. It's not the easiest to see, but it's a nice little bonus that Yamaha gives you, in that it's completely watertight and sealable as well. Then here's where our ignition switch is. You have 2 keys. Both of these keys will have a key number on them, so make sure you file your extra key with your paperwork, but you can bring that extra key to a locksmith just because of that key number and be able to get a duplicate key if you just write that number down. But it should be on your paperwork. Then you have a 12-volt cigarette outlet right there. Charge phones, throw any accessories in, which is a nice little bonus. But I think it's time we hop onto the driver's seat. Now a little fun fact you might not know that Yamaha includes is they have a throttle regulator built into these. So if you back this little 8mm nut off and you screw that Phillips screw in and you tighten it up, it will limit how much throttle you have. As right now we have full throttle, but if you back that screw in, it's going to start to turn it down. So if you're going to throw a friend or family member on here that isn't super familiar on riding quads, or especially something of this power level, it's a nice little safety feature to turn it right down so they don't go super fast and end up blipping the throttle and losing it and wrecking or hitting something because they get scared. So that's a cool little bonus and safety feature on the Grizzly. Alrighty, now that we're sitting on the Grizzly, we're actually going to start a little bit further back here. We got a compartment which has a low tire pressure gauge in there, and all your owner's manuals for the machine and for the winch. Now as we move back up, On our left side, we're going to have our neutral, reverse, our park, high range right there, and all the way up is going to be our low range. So right here in our middle is going to be our neutral. Let's turn our key on so you can actually better see all that. So in our display on the left side, it's going to show you what you put it in, your reverse, your park right there, your high range, and same thing goes for your low. Then on your right side, this is really going to be kind of warning lights, check engine light, temperature light, battery light, high beams, blue. Orange light is the power steering light. That will basically turn off once you start it and you go to drive it. So that shouldn't be on. On our right side, of course, is our throttle, front brake, left side, rear brake on the ground. And in our display, we're going to see on the bottom, of course, our time, our hours, voltage, coolant temp, 87 right now, since it was running for a minute. Then up top, we'll see our odometer. We have 2 trips, our wrench, and that's basically it is. Digital fuel gauge right there. And then when you put this machine in 2-wheel, 4-wheel drive, you'll hear it shift and you will see it pop up in the display, a little 4-wheel drive kind of indicator right there. Slide our button over, push that out, and you hear diff lock go there. Flashing red light and flashing there. And it will limit it to about 18 miles an hour. And so that's why you have this override switch, which says override. And you will hold that and see how the display starts going like this. Basically, you can have full throttle and full wheel speed. You will still have the same throttle response without override, but override will allow the wheels to spin at a faster rate than what it's limited to because of the diff lock, because of for safety. And to undo it, you just push them in, and that's all it is. Come to a stop, leave it in gear. Usually let it roll a little bit, mile an hour or two, just so everything can kind of disengage, but you're really supposed to come to a stop on these. On our left side, all the way down is our off for our headlights. One up is low beam, high beam. High beam turns on the third headlight. You can just kind of see it glowing right there. And then low beam turns that off. Our start switch, our emergency kill, and here's our control for our winch, which will be out and our in. And that is pretty much everything on the dash, but let's start it up. And let's take it for a spin. Alrighty guys, well that's going to do it on the Grizzly XT-R for 2025. I hope you all did enjoy. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to help support the channel. Give this video a like, share it with some of your friends, and as well, check out my website down below if you want to see more of my content and more content on the Grizzlies. So thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below your experiences. If you got a Grizzly, you're thinking about upgrading, or you want to get another one, what your experiences are like. Love to hear about it. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Bye.